We're doing a lot to save gasoline, and it's working. Sharing a ride or using public transportation once in a while can help us save even more. So keep it up, America.
Keep it up, keep it up. Doing great, you can save and coming through when the going is tough. Keep it up, well you rose to the test. Saving more, driving less. Keep on doing your best. Keep it up, keep it up.
How often do we think about our drinking water? We depend on our water for many purposes, but no matter how we use it, most of the time we take water for granted. Its quality and safety are important questions for everyone. For more information about drinking water and health, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has a free booklet for you. Write Drinking Water, Washington, D.C. 20460. Don't take our drinking water for granted.
Romper Room, and time for you to buzz hello to our favorite friend in Romper Room. That's Doobie. And could you please put on some wings? Come on, put on your Doobie wings and get ready to fly with us. Come on, flap those wings. Really move them. Come on, Matthew. Can you fly around in a circle? Come on, Timothy. Let's fly around in a circle again. Come on. And good morning, Doobie. Did you have a nice week? Can you tell, Doobie, did you have a nice week also? Did you have a nice week at your house? We've been learning so much about reptiles this week, Doobie. And when you came here on Monday, you gave us a very important message about reptiles. Do you remember Doobie's message? Something about snakes especially.
Don't touch snakes.
Did you hear what Amy said, Doobie? She said, don't touch snakes, and that was part of your message. But we can watch snakes, can't we? But if you see a snake coming toward you, what should you do?
Walk away.
Move away slowly, exactly. Now, do you know why Doobie told us not to touch snakes?
But they're very dangerous.
All right, some of them could be very dangerous, and it's hard for us to tell which ones are dangerous and which ones aren't. And, oh, you know what, Doobie? We talk about strange animals all the time. Should we ever go up to a strange animal and try to touch it or pet it? Why not? Matthew?
Why?
Why shouldn't we go up to strange animals?
Because it's very dangerous.
All right, it could be dangerous, and we might frighten them, exactly. Well, Doobie, today we're going to find out even more about animals. In fact, we have a special animal visiting us, a live one. We're going to make a big, big dragon and bring it to life. And we're going to look at our word reptiles again. But we thank you for coming this morning. We hope you have a good weekend, and we'll see you here on Monday. Can you throw Doobie a big kiss? Come on. Bye, Doobie. Yes. He has to go visit other boys and girls and find out if they remember his special message of the week.
Where's his house?
Oh, his house is far away from here. But I don't think he's going to his house because he's got lots of boys and girls to visit. But we've got something special we have to do. What do we say to our flag? Do we say our pledge? Mm-hmm. Joanne, would you like to be our flag bearer this morning? Could you come over here? And could you turn so you're facing all of our friends at home and also our friends here? All right. Now, hold on. And come right back over here. All right, make sure you have your right hand on your heart. All right, your left hand goes down at your side. Very good. And now, would you please lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Joanne. I'm going to put this away. And we've been visiting with so many different reptiles this week. You know, reptiles crawl or sometimes walk. And, well, sometimes they wiggle, but many times they go in a straight line. And we'd like to see if you can go in a straight line this morning up on our balance beam. All right, if you don't have a balance beam at your house, remember, you can use a straight line, find a line of tiles, or put down a string on the floor and walk right along that. 1 foot in front of the other. Could you please line up behind Amy, Timothy, and Joanne? And now, please get up here and walk right down. Timothy, just a little faster. Try this at your house. Faster. This time, Amy, let's see if you can go sideways down the balance beam. Let's wait until she gets home. All right, now you can start. Come on, Timothy, get over here in line. Try this at your house. Try going sideways down now. All right, Amy, again sideways. And try to go just a little faster this time. All right, Matthew, sideways and go just a little bit faster. Timothy, come on over and get ready to take your turn. All right? All right, take one more turn sideways. Oh, excuse me, Matthew. Let's give Joanne her last turn. And then we're going to step away from the balance beam. And we're going to find out about something that you see at your house. It's something that you might see in the kitchen or in the bathroom, and it's used usually for cleaning, especially on dishes. Usually it's in the shape of a rectangle, and it has many holes in it. Do you know what I'm talking about? I wonder if someone at home said, a sponge. Have you ever seen a sponge? Have you ever wondered how come a sponge is full of holes? Would you please sit down and then open your eyes and open your ears, and let's find out.
How come a sponge is full of holes?
Well, a sponge is really an animal that uses its holes to capture its food. From the water around it, a sponge pulls in very tiny animals and plants through all those little holes. Plants can't do that.
Sponges may be animals, but I don't think they'd make very good pets. Come on, Spot.
Speaking of unusual pets, we're going to be visited by Dr. Steve Kritzik. And he's going to talk to us about reptiles as pets a little bit later today. And we are going to be visiting more reptiles in our magic window. Just a minute, we're going to make a special reptile, and we'll show you how you can make it at your house. Although before we do that, we're going to play probably Doobie's favorite game. Do you know which Doobie's favorite game is?
Doobie says.
Doobie Says, and that's what we're doing next in Romper Room.
Romper Room will be back after these messages.
These are all squares, but they all have 4 sides, and squares can help us choose our food. The 4 sides of a good meal are meat, milk, fruits and vegetables, bread and cereals. So play it square. It's the healthy way to go. A 4-square message from your Dairy Council.
You got a bike. Don't worry. I'm a real expert. I'll show you everything. First, you have to ride on the right, the same way the traffic goes. Okay, stop. Obey all the traffic signs. Careful, no cars are coming. Let's go. You know, you're pretty good for a beginner.
I have a heart that goes bump bump, and sometimes I can hear it thump. And Daddy says that in my chest I have 2 things that are the best. They call them lungs, for breathing air. You never see them, but they're there. And if I breathe in air that's clean, I'll grow up like a jumping bean. Whenever I see any smoke, I'll run away before I choke. And something even better yet, I'll never smoke a cigarette, 'cause Mom and Dad say that smoking is for coughing and for choking. I'll breathe the air that's clean and free, so I can keep on being me. It's a matter of life and breath.
Doobie says, take a big deep breath. Doobie says, snap your fingers. Doobie says, whistle. Oh, Doobie says, try to whistle. Now, Doobie says, clap your hands. Now, whistle again. Did Doobie tell you to whistle that time? Oh, and I didn't hear Amy whistling. I didn't hear Joanne whistling either. Very good. Doobie says, snap your fingers. Doobie says, take a big deep breath. Now clap your hands. Did Doobie tell you to clap your hands? Did you clap your hands at your house? Or were you listening very carefully? Well, Doobie says, try to whistle. Are you trying to whistle? You should, because Doobie told you to. Now Doobie says, clap your hands. Now Doobie says, take a big deep breath. Now, click your fingers. Oh, Joanne, you were listening carefully, and so was Matthew and Amy, and so were you if you did not click your fingers that time. But now Doobie says, click your fingers. Doobie says, take a big deep breath. Now, whistle. Are you trying to whistle? Oh, Doobie didn't tell you to. But now, Doobie says that he has something very special to show you. A special animal, actually 2 animals, and they live at the San Diego Zoo. And we can visit them over here in our magic window, and we'd like you to visit them with us. Right? Have you ever seen a monster movie with dragons? Well, let me tell you that these particular animals may have helped in making that film. Would you please sit down right where you are, and would you please open your eyes and open your ears, and here we go to visit lizards at the San Diego Zoo. Now, these are the Komodo dragon lizards. These are real animals. They are much smaller than big monsters that we see in the movie. Dragons do not exist, but these can be used in movies to look like real dragons. But those are a variety of lizard, the Komodo dragon lizard, which is a type of monitor lizard. And we thought you might like to see how you could make something like that you could play with at your house. How would you like to have a dragon lizard that you could play with? Right. Could you turn around and look at this paper in front of you? Right. I'd like to explain to our friends at home what they'll need, and I'd like to tell you what you need at your house in order to do this. Right, we've taken 2 big long sheets of brown paper, right, and we've taped them together at the top, like this. Not at the bottom, but up at the top. Right, now if you don't have brown paper like this, you could use brown grocery bags. Right, ask someone at your house to cut them apart and then tape them together. Right, but does this look like that lizard we just saw? Right. Except for one thing, we found out this week that reptiles are covered with something funny that we don't have on our skin.
Cold-blooded.
Well, they are cold-blooded. They're covered with scales, sometimes almost a horny-like scale surface.
Fur.
And, oh, do they have soft fur? They have scales. Well, our reptile doesn't have the scales, though. I'd like to show you how you can put some fun scales on your dragon. Now, you need paper, colored paper, and cut the colored paper into strips like these. Right, then fold them in half. And then we're going to bend over the bottom. And we've already drawn the eye and the mouth and that tongue sticking out. And then we can put these all over the body of our dragon lizard. Right, up and down that body. And you can use different colors. In fact, what color would you like to make your dragon? Green, or maybe you said you'd like a yellow and a red one. Well, you can really use your imagination. What color would you make yours, Amy? Orange. What color would you make yours, Matthew? Green also. A dark green or a very bright green? A dark green, like an alligator almost.
I'm making a dark green too.
Dark green as well? All right, I'm going to put just a couple more of these on, and then we're going to show you how you can have fun and how you can turn this dragon into a real moving creature. Let's see, I'll put one more on near the top of the head. Another orange one. We're going to turn it into a real moving dragon. And do you know how we're going to do that? Well, I need your help. I need one volunteer. All right, Amy, could you please come right over here, and could you bend down on your knees? All right, and face me. Get your hands down. Bend your head down. She is going to be the head part of this dragon lizard. I need another volunteer. Who's going to be the other volunteer? We need a tail part. Good, Matthew. Can you crawl right in here? All right, now I'm going to ask Timothy and Joanne to come out here so they can see this dragon. And, oh, just a minute before you move, dragon. Let me get these things out of your way.
Are you going to be the dragon?
Well, you can take a turn, but why don't you get out onto the... Why don't you get right out here so you can see the dragon moving? All right, are you ready to crawl? Amy and Matthew, crawl together. Come on, start crawling along. Move along. Forward, come on, Matthew, forward. There's our dragon. That's a dragon that you, oh, we had to keep this up here. It's a dragon you can have fun with, play with at your house. And then, turn those people back into real people. Just take this up and put it away and keep it in a safe place. Is that fun, the way they were moving along? Oh, you can have fun. You probably fit 3 people under here as well. Or you could make 2 dragons, couldn't you? And do you think this dragon could chase its tail? That might be a fun game to play as well. Well, we hope you'll make this. And remember, all you need is brown paper. Ask someone to tape it together at the top and then decorate it with the scales. Well, we do have a creature with scales all over its body, and we're going to visit with that creature next.
Romper Room will be back after these messages.
How about a movie? It's such a nice day. How about a drive?
No.
You wouldn't like to go to your mother's house again?
There's a place not far from you, a beautiful 250-acre park with streams and trees and grass and lions and tigers and elephants.
How about my mother's house?
On the farm, we grow a food that's everything you need to eat. It's a fruit, a veg, a bread, a milk, a cheese, a bean, a meat. Hi, I'm Farmer Brown, singing about the foods you need to keep you healthy. Today, Molly's favorite. Milk. And the foods made from milk, like cheese. Marvelous. And ice cream, too. Magnificent. Milk and milk foods for strong teeth and bones. For variety and vitamins that fill and rooty tooth. Eat a veg, a bread, a milk, a cheese, a bean, a meat, a fruit. Eat a variety every day. My man.
Sweep 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Pushed out of bounds on the 8-yard line. It'll be first and goal to go. Now let's take time out as we pause for station identification. Set in the I formation, the ball is centered. Uh-oh, it's a fumble. It's picked up by O'Haney.
Good nutrition is essential to health, including dental health.
Boy, let's see that one again on instant replay.
This family won't eat the right food for supper tonight. And although they visit their family dentist regularly, their poor eating habits have given them a large share of dental problems. For good oral health, don't overdo between meal snacks. Eat well-balanced meals. Brush and floss thoroughly each day. A health tip from the American Dental Association.
Each week in Romper Room, Dr. Steve Kritzik gives us good tips about animals that we have as pets and the responsibilities that we have toward them. Well, this morning we were hoping that he would talk to us about reptiles that you could have as a pet at your house. Do you have a pet? Do you have a dog or a cat or a bird? Well, if you don't have a pet, or even if you think that you'd like to have another kind of pet, you might consider a reptile as a pet. And I hope by now you'll recognize the names of some of the animals that are part of the reptile family. Well, Dr. Kritzik, welcome to Romper Room. And could you please, first of all, give us guidelines as far as what reptiles would be good to have in households with children as pets?
Okay. Well, I think that reptiles are good alternatives for people that can't have a dog or a cat or the routine kind of pets. And the reptiles that are most commonly kept as pets are snakes, tortoises, which don't have to live in water, and turtles, which do live in water, and lizards, like the lizard, not quite like the lizards you looked at today. Those would be a little big for most people's houses. But reptiles can make good pets. They don't come to you when you call them like a dog or a cat would, but they're interesting to look at, and it's, I think, a learning experience to have a different pet like that. And it's better than having a wild animal type pet, too.
Now, if you do have a turtle or a lizard as a pet, you still need to have a certain area which that pet calls home. But I would assume it would be usually smaller than it might be for some other animals you might consider.
Well, like snakes you can build, or for other reptiles, a terrarium, and have different things in the terrarium for them. And they have to be fed and given water just like other pets. And
do they have to be fed as often as, who is it?
Yeah.
Timothy, you said you have a dog? Timothy's dog has to be fed every day, sometimes twice a day.
They have to have fresh water all the time. And some will drink every day and some won't drink every day. And say like a snake usually eats about once a week. So that's not very often.
I used to have a fish and died.
Okay, well, we know with fish, you must feed them every day, and you must keep that water clean, and you have to clean out the tank. And a certain amount of that
Some reptiles will eat every day.
Reptiles.
It's like little chameleons and little lizards, they'll eat every day. And different types of reptiles eat different types of things. Like little chameleons and little lizards eat mealworms and insect type of food and vegetables. And snakes, some snakes will eat animals like little mice and gerbils and hamsters, things like that. And sometimes some reptiles will eat dog food.
Oh,
So
speaking of food, a couple years ago we started hearing about salmonella, which is an illness, a disease that we were told we could get from turtles, pet turtles especially.
It's a bacterial infection that's spread by animals, and different types of animals can spread salmonella and cause salmonellosis, but it was seen a lot because of turtles that were sold in pet stores and in department stores. So
does that mean we shouldn't consider turtles at all?
No, I don't think so. I think that it depends on finding a turtle. It's difficult to find a turtle nowadays because you can't buy them in a store the way you used to be able to.
Well, where do you get them then?
Some pet stores will sell tortoises and bigger water turtles, but they don't sell the little turtles that we were used to seeing, at least when I was younger. They don't have it in the stores anymore, so it's the bigger types of turtles, and those are from specialty pet stores.
All right, one other item about pets, and that is we know when we have a pet, when we get a pet in our family, that it's not going to live forever.
Right.
But what is the lifespan of most reptiles as pets?
I can't tell you for sure because it's a wide range. The smaller reptiles, like chameleons, won't live very long, or little lizards. Their life expectancy is pretty short, maybe a year. But the bigger lizards and turtles and snakes can live to be quite old, so they could live to
be many years.
10 or 20 years old.
Well, this morning we have someone's pet visiting Romper Room. Right now it's residing at the ASPCA. Right. In fact, that's a special service that you might want to tell us about.
Well, besides having animals that are up for adoption, the ASPCA also once in a while takes care of animals if people are in the hospital or if they're sick and can't take care of their animal. And so the pet that I brought today isn't up for adoption. I wish that I could say it was, but it isn't, because it belongs to somebody who is sick and they're taking care of it till it gets better.
I wonder if you can guess which kind of pet it is. It is a type of reptile. Do you have a guess, Amy?
Yes, snake.
How come? Why do you think it's a snake?
Because I guessed.
You guessed?
Well, I wonder
what
you guessed.
Like.
Let's find out.
I've got it inside a container here. Now, do you still think it's a snake? Do you? In this? How many think it's a snake? Shall we see? It's a pretty big reptile. And I gotta find the head, because I think it's probably gonna be a little bit scared when it first comes out of here. Usually when I'm carrying this type of a reptile, I'll put it inside of a sock, because they usually don't like to be carried. Oh, this is a nice snake. Now this is a boa constrictor. He's pretty big, isn't he? Isn't he pretty? Now he's pretty cold because he's been inside a cool box and now he's out in the hot lights. So animals like reptiles are closely related to the temperature of the room that they're in. And it's important if you have a reptile to keep it at a temperature between 72 and 88 degrees. And they also have to have,
warm.
Right, they also have to have a certain amount of light and a certain amount of darkness every day. And when this snake has babies, they're born alive.
How big are they when they're born, approximately?
Oh, they're really tiny. Probably about that big.
Right, maybe the size of your little finger. Look at your little finger. That's about how big that snake is when it's born.
Isn't he pretty? He kind of blends in with my pants.
Now, this snake will grow.
Oh, it's going to keep growing.
And grow. Does it also do something that many other snakes do with its skin?
It sheds its skin.
Why do snakes shed their
periodically.
skin?
Well, to get a new skin, just like it's the same as we do. Our skin is always growing new cells.
Right.
You know?
But ours flakes off a little bit at a time. In fact,
they shed
sometimes
the whole
so
skin
little
at one
we can
time.
hardly see it.
But other animals like birds will have what we call a molt, where they lose their feathers and get new feathers. So it's a pretty normal thing for animals to do. Now, snakes, a lot of times people think, this snake isn't hurting my arm, okay? He's wrapping around my arm, but he's not hurting my arm. And
Can he hurt your arm?
No. The only way that he could really hurt me was if he wanted to bite me, which sometimes snakes will do. And they have really, really sharp teeth. So he could do that if he wanted to. But they don't very often bite. Now, when a snake like this is going to eat something, this would eat like a baby, a small mouse, or a hamster, that size of an animal, about once a week. And they like to have the animal alive. And they kill it, not by crushing it, which a lot of people think that they crush it, but they suffocate it. And then they eat it once
How do
it's
they
dead.
suffocate it?
By wrapping around it to stop it from being able to breathe. Which sounds cruel, but that's when snakes live in the wild and other animals live in the wild, they have to eat, and a lot of times they have to kill their prey.
Do you have some tips for the boys and girls who are watching who think right now, after seeing this snake and knowing that it's someone's pet, think they might like to have a snake as a pet? What do they really have to consider about that?
I think it's important to remember that it has to have an environment of its own, a terrarium. You have to build a special house for it. It needs to have food and water all the time. It has to be kept at a certain temperature every day. You have to make sure that the temperature stays constant so that in the summertime it doesn't get too hot, in the wintertime it doesn't get too cold. And it has to have a certain amount of light, 12 to 16 hours of light and 8 to 12 hours of darkness every day. And you have to get special food for it, which isn't as easy as opening a can of dog food like for a dog.
Right. You also have to learn how to handle it.
You have to learn how to handle it too.
So that you don't provoke it to bite.
That's right.
We know dogs and cats can bite us as well.
Sure.
If we do something that they don't like. So it's a process of learning how to handle it, and I would assume you would learn that from the person.
Yeah, I think that, like, if you go to a pet store, pet store's going to help you and tell you. And they also have books that it's important, because I don't know a lot about snakes because I've never had a snake for a pet. But I think that anybody who's going to have a reptile or an unusual animal, or even a dog or a cat, it's important. The ASPCA has little booklets that they give people when they adopt a dog or a cat, because a lot of people have never had one before.
Now, occasionally the ASPCA does have reptiles that are up for adoption.
All kinds of animals once in a while.
Birds, fish, and especially dogs and cats year-round. And we'd like to give you that special number that you can call to find out about what types of animals are up for adoption.
In the area code 212-876-7700. And that'll connect you with any of the shelters of the ASPCA, so that if you don't live in Manhattan, you could visit one of the other shelters.
All right, well, again, we'd like to remind you that this boa constrictor visiting us today is not up for adoption. The ASPCA is taking care of them under their special plan, whereby they will help out people who are in the hospital or can't take care of their pets for a short time. It will go back to its owner soon. We thank you, Dr. Kritzik, for bringing the boa to Romper Room and talking to us about the possibility of having reptiles in our homes as pets. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Do you have a catcher and a ball? If you do, or just even a ball, you can play this next game with us. And I'd like my friends to come over so that I can pass out catchers to them. Right, there you go, Matthew and Joanne. And then I'm going to ask our friends to spread out here on the floor. And let's just play catch and throw. All right, let's see. I'll toss to Amy first. Now make sure that you keep this catcher faced up. Good. And back over here. Oh, all right. Amy threw to Joanne. Joanne, go get the ball. Would you like to throw it back here? All right. And now I'll throw it at Timothy. Oh, almost. Come on, Timothy. Catch that. Oh, excuse me. Remember, you can use this for throwing as well as catching. Put it right into your catcher. And why didn't you throw to Matthew? Oh, almost. That was a good try, Matthew. Do you want to throw it back over here? Good. And now back to Amy. Oh, almost. Now make sure you keep your eye on the ball. All right, Timothy. Oh, almost again. May I remind you, once the ball gets into your catcher, excuse me, Timothy, remember, you use this for throwing. Place the ball in there and throw. Place the ball in here, and then you can use this to throw the ball. All right, do you want to throw to Matthew this time? All right, oh, that was a good try. And now to Joanne. All right, Amy, put the ball in and throw it. And again to Timothy. Oh, almost. Before, I was going to remind you, if the ball goes into your catcher, then just bring your catcher up. All right, Joanne. Throw the ball. Good. And one more toss to Matthew. Are you ready? Oh, very, very good try. Well, we're going to put our catchers away and also the ball, and we're going to get ready to look at the word reptiles with you after this.
Romper Room will be back after these messages. I'm going to take care of the rabbit. I wanted to, but I got here first. Keith or Sel were both supposed to feed it. We can both do it. Let go. You let go.
What would you do?
Listen, you feed, I water. Okay.
When two people want to do the same thing, one idea is divide the job and each do part of it.
But tomorrow, you feed and I'll water. Deal.
And that's a good way to share.
This was their finest hour. Check out the action at the library. You might just get carried away.
One day, Chicken Little was playing in the yard when an acorn fell from a tree and hit him on the head.
The sky is falling, the sky is falling, it's falling, the sky.
Chicken Little got so excited that he ran right between two parked cars and into the middle of the street without even looking. Oh, what a dumb Chicken Little. The next time Chicken Little got hit on the head...
Oh, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. See? The sky. Oh.
He walked to the nearest intersection, looked both ways to see if there was any oncoming traffic. And when he saw that the road was clear, he crossed the street.
Sky is falling. The sky is falling. It's
and lived
falling.
happily
It is
ever
falling.
after because he looked both ways.
The sky is falling, you know.
We're reaching up to pull down the word of the week. And come on, help us at your house. Reach up and pull. Here it comes. Oh, let's pull it down a little bit more. Come on. All right. Now, let's step back just a little. Come on, Timothy, back here. And let's spell this word first. All right, beginning with this R-E-P-T-I-L-E-S. Which word did we just spell?
Reptiles.
Reptiles. Let's read it together. It says reptiles, and a snake is a reptile, a lizard is a reptile, an alligator is a reptile, so is a tortoise and a turtle. Well, we hope you'll send us a reptile picture, and we hope that you'll print the name of their group, their animal group. Let's push it up now. Push. Oh, come on, push it. There it goes. And then would you please have a seat? Speaking of pictures, we've got some new pictures up on our board, and we'd like to share them with you. Have a seat here, get comfortable at your house, and look first at this beautiful design from Shmuel. He's 3 years old. And then we have this picture of a house with a little girl out in front. Perhaps that's Molly. She's 5 years old. A clown from Linda. Lauren sent us a colorful design. Quinn sent us a picture of his backyard and some vegetables and fruits and good foods from Amy. Allison has some flowers growing in a big tree. And Theo sent us a picture of a person. Here's a big rainbow from Zeta. And some letter lessons. The first letter of the word snake from Amy Jo, from Michelle, and from Jason. We hope you'll practice your letter lessons and send some of them in. Carla sent us a picture of Wiggly Wheel. And here's another one from Bethany, the long wiggly wheel. There's another long wiggly wheel and Doobie flying up in Gina's. A Doobie from Kara. And some magic mirrors, one from Debbie, who's 7 years old, one from Dawn. Dawn's used little pieces of paper to make a mosaic magic mirror. And finally, a colorful magic mirror from Sandra. And we'd like to thank all of you for the pictures that you've sent in. And if you haven't sent us a reptile picture this week, we hope you'll do it. Draw a picture of that boa constrictor, the animal that we just had visiting Romper Room, and send it in to our Romper Room address, and let's read it together. It says Romper Room, WWOR-TV, New York, New York, 10018. And of course, make sure you put your name on your picture. Say, we're going on an adventure with Paddington Bear in just a couple minutes, and we want you to go with us.
Romper Room will be back after these messages.
Hi there. I'm rolling because I want to show you what to do if your clothes ever catch on fire. Because the fire won't just burn your clothes, it'll burn you. So don't run. Don't stand up at all. Just fall down and roll. That way it'll squash out the fire and save your skin. So remember, if your clothes ever catch on fire, roll, roll, roll your body.
Here's a junior consumer tip from your Better Business Bureau. Ostriches are great runners, and I exercise every day.
My favorite hobby is drawing. I'm watching my favorite show now, but afterwards I'm going out to play. TV's all right, but there are other things to do, too.
Too much of any one thing is never good. Life is a happy balance. You should spend your time the way you spend your money, wisely.
Hi, man. Like, I'm Freddie 50s. Back in my time, square was really out. The only cool square was a meal, and it still is. Some meat and milk, fruit and vegetables, and don't forget bread and cereals. Get it, man? Like 4 groups. 4, like a square. Don't just get it on. This message brought to you by your Dairy Council.
This is the land where we want to be. Our world is clean and free. The whole thing's up to you and me.
None of us will ever smoke. No more hack. Things up to you of life and breath.